Welcome to this session of mindfulness, awareness, and compassion practice. And what we're going to do is a sequence of short practices to introduce you to the practice. First, we'll do some settling and centering, getting grounded, and connecting with our body, fully inhabiting our body. We tend to act like we're up here with at the top of a lighthouse looking out, and but it's a moving lighthouse, and we're directing it to move different places, but we're up here rather than fully engaged and inhabiting our body. So we'll do that first. And then we'll work with mindfulness practice, which is attention to what's happening moment to moment. We have an anchor because, our bodies, as far as our location of our bodies, in time, it's always now, and in place, it's always here. But our mind is like a time machine and can go off into the past and the future and elsewhere in the present. So when the mind does wander off, our mindfulness practice is simply to realize, and as soon as we've realized that our mind wandered, we're already back. Sometimes it's presented, when you realize you were wandering, come back to the present moment. The present moment is the default. We're always in the present moment. Our bodies, as I said, are always in the present moment. As soon as your mind realizes that you were in a daydream, you've woken up for it. And it's like at night when you wake up from a daydream, from a night dream, you wake up and you go, oh, I was dreaming. Now I should be awake. Now I got to be awake. No, you're already awake. So it's the same thing here. Daydream, you're already back. And so the instruction there is whatever you were choosing to pay attention to, return your attention to that. That's the mindfulness practice. Then we expand out to environmental awareness and connecting with our sense perceptions, sight, sound, bodily sensations. We're not going to work too much with smell or taste, but if you have flowers or incense or something going on in the room, you can connect with your smell. And people sometimes do a mindfulness practice of being mindful eating and what they're tasting and working with that. So we work with all our senses. And there is a sixth sense, and that is our thoughts. It's what we call mental perception. We perceive our own thoughts. So relating to them from the point of view of perceiving the thoughts, that you have thoughts, but you are not your thoughts, gives us some leverage, gives us some space to work with our thoughts. So we'll work with all of the sense perceptions and working with our thought process. Then at the end, we're going to do a little bit of kindness and compassion practice. Kindness is wishing, in the traditional Buddhist literature, kindness is wishing for happiness for all beings, which includes yourself. And compassion is wishing for less suffering for all beings. So more happiness, less suffering. And so we'll work with that in a certain rhythm at the end. So that's our plan for today. Now, we're doing these meditations as sitting meditation. There are practices like in the yoga tradition of lying down, but we tend to fall asleep. In fact, they have sleeping practice that way. There's a tendency for us to, if we're standing up, to want to move, and there's mindfulness of walking. But we're going to be practicing from a sitting. We're going to put our bodies in neutral and sit and observe what's going on. So when we're working with our body, we work with our posture. When we're working with our breathing, we're working as observers rather than controllers or directors. And working with our mind, we're tuning into openness. So that the basic quality of mind is awareness, which doesn't have any content. The contents are what comes up within that awareness. So let's start with our sitting posture. Okay, now if you're sitting on a chair or a cushion, either way, first get yourself seated and really let yourself sink in, not perching on the edge particularly, but just sink in and feel your sit bones. And notice if you have more weight on one side or the other, and just even them out. You can even tilt slightly from left to right so that they're evened out. Now we're going to work with our body posture, but first let's get our legs set up. And that is, if you are on a cushion, you probably have your legs crossed in front of you. If you're in a chair, you can put your feet flat on the floor so that your shins are vertical, perpendicular to the floor, feet pointing straight ahead, and about hip width apart, and have your knees also about hip width apart, so your shins are straight up and down. Now, if you have long legs or a lower chair and you find your knees are higher than your hips, it can put a little strain on your hips and your lower back. So if that's the case, just slide your feet across each other so that they cross at the ankles, the same distance away from you, and let your knees widen out, and they'll become lower than your hips. Now, as for our torso, ideally you want to be sitting up and rather than leaning back against something, and definitely not slouching. If you need some support, you can put a little cushion under the back of your butt or in the small of your back. If you have to lean back against something for your physical limitations, not a problem. Just scoot your butt back as close to that wall or the back of the chair as you can so that you're as upright as you can be. We want our torso to be upright. Our body and mind are synchronized, and our body gets messages from our mind, but our mind also gets messages from our body. So if you're slumped, your mind will have that slumped attitude. But if you're upright and dignified, your mind becomes more uplifted. So, we want our torso upright, but not rigid. And you can raise your breastbone just the tiniest bit up and forward. And you'll find it opens up your chest and symbolically opens up your heart. Your shoulders pull back a tiny bit without you having to pull them back, so that your upper arms, so your shoulders are kind of in line with your ears and your hips. Everything's lined up nicely that way. And you let your arms hang down from your shoulders. Leave your upper arms hanging straight down, and leave your elbows where they are, and then swivel your hands up so that your forearms run along your thighs and your hands are palm down on top of each thigh. Traditionally, there are different postures that you have with your hands, sometimes in your lap, one on top of the other. This posture is called resting the mind, so it's a good posture for us to do. Now, beyond our torso, we have our neck and our head. We want to feel like the back of our neck and the back of our head continue a straight line up from our spine. Sometimes we have a tendency to have our head tilt forward and get sleepy. Sometimes our chin floats up and we get spaced out. And very often in our world, our chin is sticking out. We're getting out ahead of ourselves because we're in such a hurry. So if there's a straight line from the top of your spine, up the back of your neck to the back and the back of your head, your chin comes in slightly. Now I'm going to turn my device a little bit so you can see that. And speaking of the device, part of our practice we're going to do with our eyes open. Most of the practice we're going to do with our eyes open, and it's not good to look directly into the screen. So move your seat or adjust your device in such a way that you're not looking directly into the screen. Okay. Now, we worked with our legs, our torso, chest, breastbone slightly raised. That's really the only little bit of tension that we're going to intentionally put into our posture. We have our arms, back of our neck, back of our head. Now, as far as our jaw goes, we want to be relaxed but not slack open. We're going to breathe in through our nostrils, breathe out mainly through our nose. If a little air comes out through your mouth, that's okay. So you want your lips either very, very slightly open or very, very lightly touching. Slightly parted or lightly touching. Your tongue can just rest naturally. One of the traditional postures for your tongue is to let it float up and rest against the upper palate, just the front of your tongue, against the upper palate, just behind your front teeth. Now this is our posture. We want to have it as stable as possible, as steady as possible. I don't like to use the word still because then we feel frozen, but as steady as possible. Now, if you feel a sharp pain, move. This is not a punishment. This is not prison. And you may find that you get distracted with an itch someplace. And if that's the case, just let it be for a few seconds at least. And if it completely occupies your mind, it's okay to move. It's okay to deal with it. Same thing if you have a little bit of an ache, you can adjust a little bit. But do it with some mindful intention. And that is say, okay, now I'm going to scratch the itch, and you gently move. And then return to your posture. So, let's let our eyes close, and let's get fully inhabiting our body. Move your toes a little bit, feel your feet, feel the pressure against the floor. Calves, knees, and thighs. Feel your hands on your thighs, just behind your knees. Again, your sit bones. Really let yourself sink into the chair or the cushion. Feel the depth of your torso. You have a front to back as well as side to side. We often think of ourselves the way we see ourselves in a mirror, but in fact, we have depth. And feel that your torso moving as you breathe. It expands front to back and side to side. Feel your chest again, tune into that breastbone. If it's tiring, let it go. But if you can, just raise that breastbone a tiny bit. Feel your shoulders, let them hang. Arms. Move your fingers a little bit, feel your hands. Your neck. Move your jaw a little bit. Get positioned. Now we've fully inhabited our body. Let's scan and let the tension flow down and out of us. You can do this anytime that you're feeling particularly tense or worked up. You know, everything, when we're calming, we calm down. Nobody's ever calmed up, and nobody's ever tensed down. So, be aware of your scalp, your face, your jaw and neck again. And let your awareness, it's like the morning sun touching a snowflake on a leaf. Just the sun on the snowflake melts it. Let your awareness melt that tension. Slow down, down and out of you. You can do that with your out breath as well, because the in breath is energizing, but the out breath is settling. So breathe out and let the tension melt out of your face, your head, your neck, and your jaw. Breathe out, let the tension melt out of your shoulders, just let them hang. Your chest and upper back, except for the little bit of tension to raise your breastbone. Breathe out, let the tension flow down and out of your arms, out of your hands. Breathe out, let the tension flow down and out of your rib cage, all around your solar plexus. Now we tend to clench our deep belly and pelvic region sometimes and don't even know it. Take a nice full breath, breathe out. Let the tension flow down and out of your lower back, your deep belly. Breathe out. Let the tension flow down and out of you. Down and out of your hips, pelvic region, thighs. Breathe out the tension out of all of your legs, your thighs, your knees, your calves, ankles, and feet. Let your awareness now return to your deep core. Let it rest there. Our core, our energy center, in our deep core, it's a couple of inches below the navel, just in front of your spine. Again, not in front, but deep inside you, front to back. And without doing any manipulating, just observing, notice that it expands as the breath comes in, contracts as it goes out. It's actually the diaphragm pushing down and pushing up to draw breath in and push the breath out. But it feels like expanding. It's almost like your deep core of your torso is filling as the breath comes in and emptying as the breath goes out. So just notice that. Notice the rhythm. Sometimes a shorter or longer breath, sometimes a deeper or shallower. Just observe it and relax with the rhythm. It's like being at the shore, watching the water run up the sand and back into the ocean. Gently up, gently back. We'll do that for a minute or two. As the gong fades, let your eyes gently open about halfway. So that you're looking down under your eyelids. It's kind of traditionally it's at the angle of your nose. So it's just a few feet in front of you. But soften your gaze so that it's as if you're looking at the space that you're sitting in rather than the object at the point of your direction of your vision. So this is mindfulness of breathing. And keep your focus of your attention on that feeling of your deep core filling and emptying. Aware that that's the breath coming in and filling you, and then going out and emptying. And it's happening in the context of your posture, which you can see at the bottom of your field of vision, and presence, awareness of the space that you're sitting in. Again, not controlling the breath, making it go a particular way, but just noticing. It's also sometimes called bare attention, or just noticing. The mind does tend to wander, so if you find yourself off in a daydream, as we discussed, as soon as you realize that you're already back, just have the awareness that was wandering. Reconnect with your posture, awareness of the sensation of the breathing, filling and emptying, and the space you're sitting in. We'll do that for a couple of minutes. If you need to, you can move a bit and refresh your posture so you don't get too stiff. And when you're ready, come back into that upright posture. You can do a check throughout your body. Now let your eyes open naturally. Again, be sure you're not looking directly into your screen. Look straight ahead, not intentionally upward towards the horizon. Our eyes tend to rest just slightly below horizon, looking out. And again, soften your gaze and really open up to your peripheral vision. You might even pay attention to your face muscles and soften the muscles around your eyes. And open up side to side, top to bottom, full peripheral vision. Again, not looking at anything in particular with a tight focus, but just open focus, as if you're viewing a big, distant landscape. If there were no walls in front of you, your awareness would go all the way out to the sky. Now, open awareness of the environment is less focused on this, more opening to that. So we work with the out-breath primarily. Your awareness includes everything, all your perceptions, including your body and your sensation of breathing in. But we work with our mind going out. Mix your mind with the out-breath. Let your mind ride it out. And in the same way that the breath goes out, mixes with the air in the room, and diffuses and becomes one with the atmosphere, let your mind go out, open up, and mix with the space, all the space in front of you, around you. And as the breath comes in, just rest in that open space, rather than tracing the breath back in. Just go out, open, and rest in spaciousness. I promise your body will breathe in by itself, and then you pick up the next out breath. Go out, open, and rest in spacious awareness. We'll do that for a few minutes. Again, if your mind wanders off into a daydream, just reconnect with your posture. Catch the next out breath. Out, open, rest in spacious awareness. Now we'll work for a couple of minutes with our perceptions. So tune into your visual perception. You can let go of the focus on the breathing. Just notice, without moving your eyes, again, the open vision, peripheral vision of a landscape. Colors, shapes, and shades of light and dark. Understand that this is light coming into your eyes, but your mind makes it into things and even gives labels. Door, window, bookcase. Just notice that. Where are you experiencing those colors and shapes? Are they out there? Are your eyes going out and touching them? Or is light reflecting into your eyes and appearing in your mind? Listen for sounds, near and far, high and low pitched. Like open up your peripheral hearing in all directions. Are you hearing sounds out there? Or is it vibration coming to your ears? Your mind identifying, adding like and dislike, labeling the source, happening in your mind. Tune into bodily sensations. Cloth on your skin, your weight on the chair, feet on the floor. Sensation of air coming in and out your nostrils. Feeling deep in your core, expanding, contracting. You might even feel your pulse in your fingertips or your neck. Your chest. The air on your skin. Are you experiencing those in places in your body? Or are nerves sending impulses to your mind, to your brain and your mind that identify location, label? And now watch for thoughts. Again, our mental perception perceives our own thoughts. Notice thoughts appearing in your mind, coming as if from nowhere. It's hard to say where they're dwelling when you're experiencing them. Inside, outside, above, below, in front and back. It's hard to say. No telling where they're gone when they've disappeared. Just watch a little parade of thoughts. Because thoughts appear to your mind, to your awareness, awareness is bigger. You are the awareness. The thoughts are appearing. So you have thoughts, but you are not your thoughts. There are appearances in your mind that you can choose to relate to however you wish. And as the gong fades, you can again readjust your posture if you need to. And raise your gaze as if you are looking out at the sky. Now we're going to do the kindness and compassion contemplations. And know that under that same sky, all beings on this planet exist under the same sky. Different places, but the same sky. The same atmosphere between the sky and the earth. On the same earth, beings living in the oceans or lakes, in the water, but all on the same earth. And as living beings on this planet, we all share something in common. We're all equal in wanting happiness, meaning well-being, peace of mind, health in body and mind, feeling good. And we all want to be free from suffering, illness in body and mind, anguish, pain, feeling bad. So cultivate from your open heart. Again, you can feel, raise your breastbone, feel that open heart. Your heart is where kindness and compassion come from, not so much your head. And feel your heart. And have the wish, may I and all beings have the happiness we long for in body and mind. Whatever that means to you. If particular beings come up, loved ones, family, pets, people you know, you can work with that. Send that wish to them. I wish for them to have the happiness they seek in body and mind. And from your heart, generate also the wish, may I and all others be free from suffering in body and mind. Have the freedom from suffering we seek. And again, you may know loved ones who are suffering in certain ways. Have the wish that you could relieve them of that suffering, that they would be relieved of that suffering. Traditionally, we do this as sending happiness as we breathe out, relieving them of suffering as we breathe in. It's as if drawing the air in is like drawing out the suffering from them. Breathing air out is like sending them the happiness. And as best you can, see if from your heart, you can extend that to all beings, wishing that they could be free from suffering, wishing that they could have the happiness they seek. Not happiness in terms of material gains, but happiness in the sense of fundamental well-being. And if we go a little bit deeper, actually a lot deeper, we see that the cause of so much suffering are the poisonous emotions and attitudes of intolerance, hatred, anger, jealousy, greed, lust for power, attachment. And ultimately fear, and below that, ignorance. Imagine that you could draw all those poisons out from all beings and free them from those poisonous emotions. And that you could fill their hearts with the opposite, wisdom and understanding, kindness and compassion, love, acceptance, tolerance, generosity, openness. So we can cultivate that wish. That's our expression of kindness and compassion for ourselves and all beings. As the gong fades, just let go of the contemplation, let go of what you were imagining. Lower your gaze and come back to presence, your posture and your body, feeling of filling and emptying as the breath goes in and out, awareness of the space you're sitting in. And we conclude our sessions with an aspiration. Basically, throughout the day and night, may I be as mindful and kind as I can be. And we dedicate this practice so that we can be of more benefit to others. And you can say, may the practice I've just done be of benefit to others as much as to myself. If you want to be very generous, you can say, may it be of even more benefit to others than to myself. That's real generosity. So thank you for your kind attention and your practice in this mindfulness, awareness, and compassion meditation session.